today to report to you that I'm incredibly disappointed in one of my all-time favorite fighters, my brother, Floyd Money Mayweather.
What happens when a man who's built his entire brand on wealth and opulence begins to show cracks in his financial foundation? How does it feel when someone whose every move screamed money now finds himself fighting to keep up appearances? The case of Floyd Mayweather, once a symbol of boxing greatness and untouchable wealth, is now under scrutiny. The very thing that made him a household name, his money, seems to be slipping away. But is he really broke? Or is this just another stunt in his long history of spectacle and showmanship? The world knows Floyd Mayweather as the man who turned boxing into a cash cow, raking in millions with each fight and living a life most could only dream of. A self-proclaimed money. Mayweather, his reputation was built on his flashiness and ability to make money in and out of the ring. His undefeated record, along with jaw-dropping paydays, earned him a place at the pinnacle of sports wealth. But now, after years of public flaunting and spending, the questions about his financial stability are becoming louder and harder to ignore.
Now, Floyd Mayweather had an exhibition boxing match. And in this boxing match, Floyd Money Mayweather decides, who's he fighting? What's the name of that guy? John Gotti III. Ladies and gentlemen, chaos broke out. And I'm not talking about
Stephen A. Smith, the ever-vocal ESPN personality, recently made waves by revealing information that casts a shadow over Mayweather's supposed financial empire. Smith, who has had a long relationship with the boxer, had once been a confidant, even praising Mayweather's strategic precision during his historic fight with Conor McGregor. But as the years have passed, Smith's tune has changed, and he's not shy about calling out Floyd when the evidence begins to point in a different direction.
All likelihood, it would be in the boxing ring. It wouldn't be in UFC. That's not something that he would do. That's not something that the people close to him, particularly his loved ones and his business managers and others, would allow him to do. Floyd talks about this. He's been on the record talking about how the UFC wants him to do certain things. Floyd doesn't mind saying things like that because he doesn't mind reminding folks of how
Mayweather's financial woes seem to have begun after his most lucrative bout in 2017. The highly publicized Mayweather versus McGregor fight was billed as one of the biggest paydays in combat sports history. Mayweather reportedly earned a whopping $275 million from that event, a figure that solidified his place as the richest man in boxing. At the time, it seemed like Mayweather could do no wrong. However, as time has passed, rumors have swirled that he may be facing significant financial troubles, and Stephen A. Smith is now bringing these claims to light.
And dispersed. Dancers also had to pay house fees to perform, usually between $100 and $200 per shift. One of the women also alleges Mayweather slapped her in the face when she asked for payment from an earlier.
There's more to the story than just rumors. In February 2025, reports surfaced that several of Mayweather's staff members had threatened to quit due to unpaid wages. Personal assistants, security personnel, and even gym workers were reportedly going unpaid for months. It's hard to reconcile this reality with the lavish lifestyle that Floyd continues to portray on social media. How can a man who supposedly has billions in the bank fail to pay his own employees? It's a stark contrast to the image Mayweather has spent years building, one of boundless wealth and success. Things get even more puzzling when you look at Mayweather's spending habits. The man who once claimed to have over $300 million in his checking account seems to be living paycheck to paycheck now. Floyd continues to show off his expensive cars, watches, and private jets, all while struggling to make payroll for his inner circle. Just months ago, he made headlines for paying over $1 million to secure a private suite at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Yet, at the same time, employees were complaining about not being paid. This stark contradiction is impossible to ignore, and it raises the question, where is all of Floyd's money going?
Mayweather. Without question. Number one, he's more hated than Conor McGregor. Number two, he's unblemished. Conor McGregor, we've already seen him lose to Nate Diaz, okay? So we saw that. There's no novelty in that. Number three, and more importantly, you got to remember something here. And it's amazing how people react. I don't sit up there and bring up race always as a negative. Sometimes, most times, I'm just highlighting
When you dig into Mayweather's post-fight career, it's easy to see why people are starting to wonder about his financial health. Since retiring, he's taken on a series of exhibition fights that are clearly just for the paycheck. These aren't competitive bouts. They're simply opportunities for Mayweather to make easy money. He's fought YouTubers, kickboxers, and even social media influencers. These matches are marketed as easy money, but what's even easier is recognizing that Floyd needs the cash. His claim of having $300 million in his checking account now seems laughable when he's flying halfway across the world to fight a series of unqualified opponents. The very people who once praised his business acumen now seem to question his judgment. It doesn't help that Mayweather has a history of spending money on depreciating assets: huge mansions, luxury cars, expensive watches, and even jewelry worth more than some people's homes. These types of purchases can only keep up an image for so long. Floyd may have been able to buy his way into the limelight, but maintaining that lifestyle is another challenge entirely. As he continues to flaunt his wealth, the reality of his situation becomes harder to ignore. Expensive toys and flashy accessories don't make for a sound financial plan. While Floyd may still be able to show off his toys, he's also likely spending a small fortune just keeping them up.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. and his local strip club for allegedly failing to pay exotic dancers minimum wage and illegally withholding their tips.
But the cracks in Floyd's financial empire go beyond his personal spending habits. In 2024, Floyd made headlines again by claiming he paid $18 million in taxes. While this was supposed to demonstrate that he was still rolling in cash, it revealed a more troubling truth. Mayweather doesn't have the financial infrastructure in place to manage his wealth effectively. The wealthiest people in the world, those who've made billions, don't have to worry about paying hefty taxes because they employ entire teams of financial experts to optimize their financial situation. Floyd, on the other hand, seems to be handling his finances in the same reckless way he always has. Spend now, worry later. Things took another turn in early 2025 when Floyd made a splash by announcing his investment in a $402 million Manhattan project. The media went wild, thinking Floyd was diversifying his wealth into real estate. But when the actual records were pulled, it became clear that Mayweather didn't own the buildings outright as he had led everyone to believe. Instead, he had a minor stake in the development, yet he made it appear as though he was the sole owner. This kind of exaggeration fits into Floyd's larger narrative of flashing wealth, but it also raises the question, is this a desperate attempt to keep up appearances?
Speak freely. What's your take on all of this?
Well, my first take about it is that Floyd knows better than that. He knows that I say what I mean and I mean what I say. And if anybody's backtracking, some would say that he's backtracked. Even if I did backtrack, which I don't believe.
The pattern of Floyd's behavior is hard to ignore. More and more, he's resorting to stunts to keep the money flowing. From erratic exhibition matches to unverified business ventures, it seems Floyd is willing to do whatever it takes to maintain his image as the king of cash. But how much longer can he keep up the facade? The public's perception is beginning to shift, and the questions are starting to pile up. Is Floyd Mayweather's brand built on solid foundations, or is it teetering on the edge of collapse? Even as the criticism mounts, Floyd remains unfazed. He continues to live large, posting pictures of his private jet, his expensive meals, and his lavish lifestyle. But behind the scenes, sources close to Mayweather claim he's struggling to keep his finances afloat. Some reports suggest that he's even borrowed heavily against his assets, leveraging everything from his Las Vegas properties to his luxury cars in order to keep the cash flowing. At this point, it seems Floyd is running a race against time, trying to outrun the inevitable crash that's coming for him.
They were misclassified as independent contractors when they worked as dancers at Girl Collection. That's a club near Sahara and Sammy Davis Jr. Drive. The dancers allegedly could only make money through tips that Girl Collection and Mayweather collected.
Floyd's predicament is not unique. Many athletes who've built their brands around flashy wealth and ostentatious displays of luxury have found themselves in similar situations. The difference with Mayweather is that he's built his entire identity on being the richest boxer alive. To see that image crumble now would not only be financially devastating, but it would also be a blow to his entire legacy. In the world of professional sports, legacy is everything, and Floyd's carefully crafted persona is at risk of being tarnished forever. But Floyd Mayweather's story isn't over yet. Despite all the setbacks, despite all the rumors and financial missteps, he's still pushing forward. He's still making appearances, still living a life of luxury, and still fighting in exhibition matches for paychecks. Whether or not he's truly broke is up for debate, but one thing is clear. The man who once seemed invincible is now facing challenges he can no longer ignore.
Record, of course it does. Look, Conor McGregor's making his professional boxing debut. Floyd Patterson, the heavyweight champion of the world after Marciano, fought a title defense against the guy making his pro.
Floyd may have built his empire on money, but it's becoming increasingly clear that the empire may not be as solid as he once thought. The cracks are starting to show, and it's only a matter of time before the full extent of his financial troubles comes to light. It's a cautionary tale for anyone who's ever been tempted to live life in the fast lane without considering the consequences. So, what's next for Floyd Mayweather? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. The man who once had the world at his feet may soon find himself facing a new kind of fight, one where the stakes are higher than ever before. If you want to stay up to date on this developing story and more, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep the conversation going.